Trump has had some epic takedowns of the media this year. You may remember when he retweeted this mock video of him body slamming CNN. They had a fit, but it was funny. Watch. And the president also had no problem putting CNN grandstander Jim Acosta in his place. This is pretty epic. Watch.
Since you're attacking us, can you give us a question? Since you're Mr. President-elect, Mr. President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance? You are attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance to ask a question, sir? Sir, can you state, Mr. President-elect, can you state categorically, Mr. President-elect, can you give us a question? You're attacking us. Can you give us a question? Can you give us a question?
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
All right, and the president never missed an opportunity to slam the fake news media at any of his rallies. Let's remind you of this.
When the media lies to people, I will never, ever let them get away with it. I will do whatever I can that they don't get away with it. Media outlets like CNN and MSNBC are fake news. Fake news. I'm here this evening to cut through the fake news filter and to speak straight to the American people. Fake news. Fake news. These are sick people. You know the thing I don't understand? You would think they'd want to make our country great again, and I honestly believe they don't. If you want to discover the source of the division in our country, look no further than the fake news and the crooked media.
Joining us now, former Arizona Republican Congressman J.D. Hayward, chairman of the American Conservative Union, Matt Schlapp. J.D., look, you've dealt with this in the course of your career. I mean, the reality is there's a lot of fake news. You know, there's no discerning, objective news media like they claim that they are. This is an opinion program. I'm an advocacy journalist. We make no pretense on this program. I have an opinion.
We're commentators, and that's fine. But the problem is you have a situation where you've got guys, for example, the earlier segment, you had a reel of Jake Tapper. You know Jake's first job in politics? It was press secretary for Democrat Congresswoman Marjorie Margolis-Mezvinsky. Now, I think here's a reform today. Everyone at every one of the networks, including Fox, the resume should show up. What jobs have they had before? What have they done that have brought them into this situation? But you're right, it's been around for years. Our old buddy Jed Babin said the largest in-kind donation to the Democrat Party comes annually from the Washington Press Corps. They are inherently leftist. They are inherently leftist, and you just have to deal with it. But here's the big difference, guys. Donald Trump doesn't take it as a victim. He fights back. I can remember we would have folks in for the NRCC, and so many people in America would say to us as members of Congress, when are you going to take on the press? And we would say, look, we've got to get our work done. We can't get bogged down fighting them every day. The genius of this president is it has become so polarized, he is not afraid to call them out.
You know, that is probably the one thing that I think, Matt, the media expects, that, or even the anti-Trump crowd, that they think that they can somehow pressure Donald Trump into changing and becoming the president and act the way they think a president should act. The one thing that I think distinguishes him and makes him so successful is him bypassing the media, tweeting out his opinions, tweaking people, and fighting back. And I think the people that support him find it extraordinarily refreshing.
Yeah, I've been debating several prominent Never-Trumpers all week in response to this book. And the fact is the Trump agenda is conservative. It's fulfilling promises. But it's also a stylistic change. JD's right. You're right, Sean. What Republicans tend to do is cower. They say we can't really go for everything that we promised during the campaign because, you know, it's unpopular or it's radioactive. So we'll only go for 40 or 50%. And then they go and do a negotiation. They get about 20 or 25%. And they come back to all of us and they say, look, we got 25% of what we want. Wasn't that pretty good? And we say, no, it's no good. We're losing our country to socialism. And part of it is because the media is relentlessly attacking these conservative values. And what the president has done is shown really everybody that the right way to handle this is not to cower and only ask for 25%. The right way to do things is push for all of your objectives, all of them, all the time, all day long. Get everything you can, and don't take the lies and distortions. Go right back at them. And I find it for myself, and I'm sure you all find it, it is refreshing, and it makes everybody else be stronger and stand their ground as well.
But it's great because they're like Alka-Seltzer in water. You know, you put a little water, drop your Alka-Seltzer tablets, you know, plop, plop, fizz, fizz. They bubble and fizz and go on TV and find the worst adjective they can to describe anybody. And, J.D., I think they've just exposed themselves to a point they can't recover.
Well, the problem has been there for years, and I can remember, gosh, I think it was 1980. Fred Barnes, of all people, wrote a column that showed up in Reader's Digest saying the press has got it wrong. They're not supposed to take on the role of the loyal opposition. They're journalists. They're there to chronicle what's happened. Well, what we've seen is a complete change where these people are advocates, and they are partisan advocates, and they're thin-skinned at that. Because the old rules were they could beat the heck out of you, and Matt's right, a lot of guys would cower. Some of us would stand up and get even more invective. But Donald Trump is a man of the times. His genius is bringing together social media and television and going directly to the American people and not saving it up for a speech in Des Moines and not playing the victim, but saying, okay, take your shot. I'll hold up a mirror to you and we'll see who's really distorting what's going on.
That's really well said. Last word, Matt.
You know, the thing is that what Donald Trump understands is that after 8 years of Obama, the country was on its knees, our economy was weakened, we weren't respected overseas. This type of tone, this type of approach to being president is really exactly what the country needs. And I think it is hard for those people that are wedded to the old ways to give up the old ways. But the fact is, our country needed this.
Agreed.